I want to ask a question, very direct, and I want you to see the truth. Even if it's just there, inside your head, have you ever looked at your hand, carefully, like she was trying to tell you something? Because, there are people who live a whole life believing that it in the palm of your hand is the only hand. Just skin, just random rows. And then, one day, out of curiosity, because of boredom, or just because somebody says, it looks better, and you see a design here, a symbol, a plug-in to the lines that seem impossible to be a coincidence. And when the symbol is the letter A, then the conversation switches. I'm not saying it's a sure thing that of the target. I'm not saying it's going to happen to the X or YU because it is a line that crosses over with the other. But I'll tell you one thing, which for me shivers to this day. A lot of the people who discovered the letter in your hand, it describes the same experience. It is as if, for a few seconds, the world got as quiet. And the mind, he said, okay, now what? Because of the letter A, in a few interpretations of the Freemasonry and the spiritual symbolism, it is seen as a sign of the rare. And it's the most curious thing is that when people are searching, they found a pattern. Intuition is strong, sudden changes, encounters, striking face which seem to be the script of the film. And that's why I made this video. Today, I'm going to show you. As this letter can be shown the truth in the lines, what does it mean in reading both traditional and symbolic? What are better often happens with those who have this sign? And how do you use it in a clever way? Not for you to be afraid of, but to get to know you better. Now, before I go on, I'm going to ask you two things very quickly, because it's here to help me to continue bringing you these topics. Subscribe to the channel now. For the next few videos are going to deepen, the signals are even more rare, and you're not going to want to miss it. And share this video with anyone who loves mysteries, spirituality, and the curiosities of the body, and that kind of stuff that makes you looking at the world through a different perspective. Ready to go. Now, come with me, because it can happen to anyone who has the letter AA in your hand, and it might surprise you too. I want to get in the way, as simple as can be, because this video is for the novice, the easy way. When I say the lyrics on the one hand, I'm not talking about the tattoo, not that of a brand, drawn, or pen. I'm not talking about a format which can appear on the combination of the natural lines of your palm. And here's an important piece of information. Your hands are threads, which may vary from person to person. There are some that are deeper, more thin. Some of them are crossing each other. The other follows an almost straight. And in some cases, the rows are combined in a way to form a design very similar to the letter A must be capitalized. Typically, the letter A appears when a line shapes something like a triangle or pyramidina, and the other line is cut, or the slope, creating that look of A on the dash in the middle. And I've let one thing is clear. Every person that you see an A, you see an A for real. Sometimes it's just finding the one symbol is, The mind loves patterns. It looks like a face in a cloud, and the animal in the stone, the design on the wall. Because of this, I'm going to teach you later on to look to the right, comparing it with both hands, and looking down at the pool. There is a risquinho alone. But the point here is this. When the words appear in a way that was clear, she called attention to it because it seems purposeful. It looks like a signature. And that's exactly where it comes to the tradition of Freemasonry. For centuries, people have studied his hands as a map, a symbol of personality, trends, challenges, and stages of life. Not a sentence, but rather as a mirror, a power tool, in a language so old that attempts to translate the signs on the body of the message. And the letter AU in that language is often used as a symbol of this very special. I'm going to have to tell you that I think it happens to almost all over the world who finds a letter in his hand. The person is unable to desver, because I was the only one to hand. After it turns into a personal mystery. And why is the letter A? Specifically, it calls so much attention. First of all, why is the letter? It is not a circle at random. It is not only a cross between. It is a format that seems to have been means the person, as if it were a language. Second, because the A is a letter that is full of symbolism in different cultures. The beginning, the source, The first, leadership, initiative, and the opening of the roads. And it is also famous for the inner authority, authenticity, wake up. And then comes what I think is the strongest part. Many of the readings associated with this symbol, the people who live on the stages of the game. We go through life, the way to warm. Many people who have, at some point, it is pulled up to an eye-opener, emotional, spiritual, mental, or even just making the right choices. You realize one thing. I was talking to associate with some of the readings in interpretations. I'm not you promising to target, but I promising something better, a way to look back at you with more caution, and you may see the patterns that you've lived for, just that he had never connected the dots. Because the hand is at the end of the day, there must be a spell for it to be interesting. It can also be a symbol, and symbols that can make people think. And so I ask you this, what if the letter AI, you saw it, didn't you, is a warning to the world, but it's a reminder for you to pay attention to what you feel, what you ignore, and which do you avoid? Cool. Right now, I'm going to be the one that most people really want to know. If you have the letter in his hand, or if you think you have, there are a number of features, which is very much in the traditional interpretations, and I'm going to talk about how an account simple, like I'm talking to you. A lot of reading, it says that the person with this symbol, it tends to have the following. A, intuition. You know, when I do, I feel something I can't explain. When I've got a gut feeling and then I think, I knew it? Because it is. Some of the interpretations, they place this as a main feature, both sensitivity and emotional high. It is not to be weak. It is felt the most. It is to understand the sub. It is to capture what has not been said to you. I go to a place and to feel in the mood. I'm talking to someone, and before the person finishes the sentence, I notice that there's something behind it. 3, and the ability to see the detail. People just tend to notice microquisas, change of tone, perception, power, strange words over and over again. Make up one hand, the visionary, the times, not wanting to do it. I think the path. I'm thinking of other possibilities. I know what would happen if we... And so you want to make a gift, but it also can turn into anxiety if I don't know how I balance it. Now, I want to pull you into their conversation, because now is the perfect time. I want you to tell me in the comments something very special. You get a line in his hand, forming in some standard format, font, triangle, star, cross, or an M. And there you have it. Tell me in which format and in what is a hand, right hand, left hand, or both. I'm going to read it and reply you as much as I can. And that is why I am asking you to do it here. Because when we compare the accounts, you realize one thing. A lot of people, it's sensitive. Do you think that it's the thing on the head? To see that other people feel the same. And take a look at it. You have this symbol. It does not mean that your life is going to be easy. In fact, some of the readings, they say, just the opposite is true. You're the kind of person who grows up in the changes, and change is not always comfortable. Right now, I want to touch on a point that I think is crucial, because a lot of people romanticize of these symbols. I'd rather tell you the truth. If you have a signal, it is rare. It is not the prize. It is the legal responsibility. Some of the interpretations that associate with the letter A with the people who have passed through the stages of the transformation of the fort. Transformation can come in many forms. A decision that I have it for years, and all of a sudden, I am forced to choose from a cycle is coming to an end I didn't ask for. A change of town friends as usual. In a vision of the world don't. I get that it hurts, but it pushes me to a better path. And it has a pattern that is very much on the accounts of the life, seems to test your courage. As if I'm always going to push for a more true to me. You know that feeling that you and I can't fake it for long periods of time? I can't live a life that doesn't agree with me? It's a time for the body to complain about, the mind objects, the life of the latch. For some it reads, the letter A appears in people who have the mission to establish its authenticity. Not in the sense of mystical, but in the sense of the human race. I was not made to live with sleeping in their beds. This can be a beautiful thing, but also fear, because the wake-up requires losing some illusions in. This is one of the most talked on the subject of the letter in his hand, and the idea that this may indicate that the sensitivity of the energy. and I'm going to explain to you the way to a more down-to-earth as possible. You know, when I get close to someone, and I have a very strange and even a person do it all. When I go into the environment and for no reason, and I'm a heavy, tired, angry, anxious. When I talk to someone feeling sad and then I get sad too, as if I had taken the pain from. A lot of people call it energy. Others call it a bond. Others call it a perception of emotional. The name doesn't matter all that much. The point is that I feel this way. And according to some readings, the letter would be linked to this kind of perception is magnified. But this is where I need to put a warning. Very important. I am a sensitive person, and I need to learn to limit it. I need to learn to protection in mind. But I do remember the sponge. I absorb it all and I lost myself. So, instead of it being a gift, it's just a burden. So, if you feel identified, I want you to think about this. I have a quiet moment. I have the rest of the truth. I choose with whom I go. I say no when you need to. Because of the sensitivity without limit on it like an antenna broken, take it all, and that's okay. And right now, I'm going to be a part of you that leaves a lot of people in the eye-popping. What can happen to those who have this symbol? I'm not going to promise a miracle. I'm not going to sell you a fantasy. I'm going to have to tell you that it appears frequently in performances and information, and you can decide what to do with it. Some of the readings, they say that the people with the letter in his hand tend to be the rapid changes that seem to be out of nothing. I'm at a stage in the normal, and all of a sudden, everything changes, and that is an opportunity of a termination of employment, a change in the route. And you look after it, I get it. It was required. 2 meetings, which seem to be the target. I know someone in an accident, but is this random changes in my life? It can also be a friendship, a partnership, someone who opens the door, someone show me a vision of the world. 3. Of the discoveries of profound personal. I passed for a few moments of, wow, I didn't know I was that way. I see myself more clearly. I understand it is a long-standing pattern. I break up for a repeat. 4 of a sense of being driven by the signal. It's not that the universe speaks to me of the neon, but I began to notice a pattern. The numbers of repeated phrases which are repeated, the subjects that appear on at different times, and understanding of hit for sure. And it may be only the selective attention? You can, but it could be my subconscious trying to wake me up. And that alone is a powerful thing. And right now, I'm going to make my application stronger. In the video you hear, because you're coming at this point, it's because you like this type of content is, subscribe to the channel right now, because I'm going to bring the other symbols are rare in the hand and the body signals that hardly anyone ever talks about. And I can promise you this, you'll start to see things you've never even noticed. And turn on the bell because then you won't miss the next video, and I will continue making this content for even more in-depth. Ready to go. Right now, I'm going to teach you how to identify the letter of the law, so as not to fall into self-deception. I want to do this with me right now, on the way to a more practical manner. First, open your hand and looks at it slowly. But you don't look in any hurry. It looks like those who are looking for a detail in a letter to the old one. Some tips for identifying the best way. A. Take note of the two's hands. In palmistry, traditional, a lot of people it considers that. A hand that shows trends, love, and the other one shows you how I developed it over time. It has a number of schools and interpretations, then you don't need to write it. Just compare the 2 of them. 2. Don't search for a perfect school. In the letter, it can be bent, can be thin, it can be part-time. The important thing is for the set of 2 rows, forming a V or triangle, and a line of the highest quality. 3 to see if it is consistent or just with a cross in a random. If you are a risquinho small that it only looks like an A at a certain angle, there may be only a coincidence that look. 4. The use of light. Sometimes it's a shadow on him. If you can change the position of the hand and to see that the format has remained. And it's a detail that a lot of people forget. Some of the hands are too many fine lines, so-called secondary. This is a common issue and can create a letter for temporary eye. The symbol is that it tends to draw the attention in the readings. It is one that is formed with a main, or well marked. If you have the lyrics, too, well, great. If you're still not sure, just relax. The most important thing is not to have or not to have. it is a reflection of what is in me matches up with that. And now I want to tell you about a piece that imparts a sense of, wow, this is coming from far away. When I talk about the signs in one hand, I'm not inventing a new fashion. The idea is to see the hand there is a lot of time in different cultures and traditions. And why is that? Because of the hand is a symbol of action and the target of the way. It's the hand that I build. It's the hand I write it down. It's the hand that I want to. In various traditions and symbolic, of the hand corresponds to the ability to build their own life, what I do and what I have to lose. What do I give to you and what do I get? And symbols such as letters, crosses, triangles, stars, always drew attention because they seem to be in the messages in the body. And right now, I'm going to pull you out of the new pro chat room. Tell me in the comments. In addition to the letter, have you ever seen any of the other format of the lines in your hand? It can be either a triangle, a cross, a star, a box. And if you have an in hand, a format that is different, he writes as follows. I have Darmböckstraw in the hand of Karböckstrainj. I want to see what else comes in here. And why does it matter? Because as more and more reports of people join, the more you realize that the signs are the same in some profiles for the people. And so, it is, at least. That's fascinating. Now, the beauty has been identified. You get the idea in the context of, and then it comes to the question of what a game changer. What do I do with it? If I can find the letter in my hand, and I start to read things on the internet, and it's very easy to fall on the two ends of the spectrum, or I think the special late, and in the beginning of the travel, or I will get scared and think that it's going to happen, and I don't want any of them. I'm way too mature. Self-awareness. If I have a symbol that I can use it as an invitation to see my life in a way that is more conscious. A. I listen to my intuition, or I do not know. Because many people are sensitive to ignore what it feels like until it becomes a crisis. The two of you. I'm on a course that suits me, or I'm just repeating what they expect from me. At times, the sign does not say it will happen. He says, wake up. 3. And I'm emotional limits? If I can absorb it all, I need to learn how to take care of me. 4 of them. I will have the courage to start all over again when something doesn't make sense. The people of the processing are usually come at a price. They have to shut down cycle. And here's the phrase that I want you to keep it. The symbol is no boss of me, but the symbol that it can remind me of who I am. Many of the readings that draw on the letter of the rare, not because it would be impossible, but that's because it's not something that appears in all over the world in a clear way. And once you discover it, one feeling in common, that is, so it's all explained. Okay, to explain that I've always felt different. Okay, to explain that I can see things that others don't get it. Okay, to explain that I'm changing for the stage, as if they were in anime. And I'm not talking about being better than someone else. I'm talking about is different in the way you feel and live. And at times, to anyone who is just passing by for a lifetime of listening, are you sensitive to others, thinking so much? That's all in your head. And then, you know, when people look at your hand, and it is the one symbol is, it feels like, okay, so maybe I'm not making it up. And I want to use this moment to bring to the conversation, because this theme is just perfect for this. Tell me in the comments, do you feel like you have a bullet in your hand, in the shape of a letter or a symbol? And if you do, speak what it is. And if you're not sure which describes their way, like, it sounds like a triangle, it sounds like one all over the place, it looks as an end. I really want to see what comes up and how it connects with the stories of the guys. Now, I'm going to show you something even more interesting. It is the symbol. It is not just a sketch. It can be combined with the specific phases of your life. The one thing that a lot of people says, that is what life seems to be going in cycles, the well-marked. As if I didn't live up to the linear. I live in the chapters of this book, and some of the interpretations linking it to the letter, 2, periods of stability, followed by times of change and intense followed by the reconstruction process. And I want you to stop and think about it. How many times have you started over without wanting to? It may also be summation of friends, school routine mindset, faith dreams come true. Sometimes I will restart by our own choice. Sometimes life pushes me, but in the end, I made a thing. and I'm not the same person. And here comes a quite interesting. The A is a symbol of the rise, to stand a little taller. Just go up the step to get tired. Climb up the step requires you to leave something behind. And if you're in a rough patch right now, and I'll tell you one thing, with love, a lot of people who live in large face only to understand later. But after that, we mean. If you have an energy intensive, an intuition, a quality of mind fast, I need to learn how to get organized from the inside out. If not, I remember someone who feels everything, but you don't know what to make of anything. So, here are some of the actions that they combine so much with this profile. A. I need a few moments of silence. It is not cool. This is top-ups. 2. I need to choose my company. It sucks. There are people who weigh you down. There are people that mess up. I am a sensitive person. It affects me the most. 3. I've got to write or talk about what I do. To keep the whole thing turns into lump in my throat. It turns into anxiety, turns to irritation without any reason. 4 of them, I need to put more faith in me. Because of people's intuitive, sometimes you doubt yourself all the time, and then they deliver it to the steering wheel of your life to view. 5. Do I need to turn the sensitivity on the action? Intuition of the action becomes even more frustration. Perception, with no attitude in it, turns into fear. And now, I want you to come back to your hand, because you have something that very few people talk about. The letter can appear in conjunction with other signals. In some of the readings of the symbolic, it is not just the letter A alone. It doesn't matter. It's on the set of the letter A, and it no longer appears next to it. For example, the A is a triangle, and some of the interpretations that speak of the protection of and learning if you have a cross to be quite distinct talk about the challenges they have seen, the strength. If it has lines that go up and talk about their growth. And if you have lots of lines cutting, talk about the mind accelerated and the need to focus on. And I don't want to be obsessed by looking for the thing. I want you to keep quiet. And of course, so I'm going to ask you to comment anew. I want you to tell me this. In addition to the letter, then you have a line in his hand, forming a specific format. It can be any format that is the same. And if you have more than one, and he writes it all, I've been to, and also a dio. And if you're able, he says, if you feel that you have the intuition, because I want to compare the stories with the characters of the show. So, let me recap on my way and stop. If I get a letter in my hand, and I do not need to sign in to panic, and you didn't find the chosen one, I can use this as a sign from the symbolic to look at me with the most sincere. The letter A. In a lot of ways, a conversation with intuition, sensitivity, the perception of the environment, marked, changes the meetings, which saw the face, and it asks for authenticity. And to the question of what it is to me, and I'll leave it to you. I'm listening to who I am, or I was living on autopilot. Right now, I'm going to give you all of the way to a stronger and more honest, because it helps you too. Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss the next videos, and symbols are rare in the hand, and the signs of that almost no one talks about. Leave your like, because this is a video to reach more people who need to see it. Share them with someone that you love, that kind of mystery. Seriously, send it to a friend, a family member, someone who is always looking at his own hand for fun. And comment below, do you have the letter A? Which hand? And what do you feel when you first noticed it? And now the final question, which is the way that you have been asked, quite straightforward. What other lines do you have at hand? Do you have any other shape? Type MA star, triangle, cross, square. And if that is not in your hands, have you got any signal on another part of the body? Which do you think is curious, different, or very specific to a brand, a natural design, with a pint in a strange place? Anything that draws attention to itself. Tell me in the comments, because if you have a lot of interesting history, and I'll do a part 2 of the combinations of the rarest and most of the reports of the most amazing. I'll be waiting for you in the comments, and remember, sometimes the mystery is not there to scare you, it is to wake up to.